Okay, so let's start. I don't know what this one is going to be about. I really don't have any clue. Atonement. How is your reasoning towards the truth coming along? The next tragedy is ready for you. I don't wanna... I don't want to enjoy the fucking clowns milling about. I don't like the clowns milling about. There's enough clowns milling about. Oh, don't do this to me. It takes me forever to get through those because they're just so boring. By the way, if this is from Rena's perspective, the first time I would try hard to avoid the inevitable tragedy. The second time I would be distressed through with envelope. The third time my disgust would turn to anguish. The seventh time I'd be laughing by then. See, that's Rika, I think. Like, that's a quote from Rika. The chorus of the Higurashi had replaced that of the cicadas. Oops. Their cries came from a distance, echoed loudly, and then faded away. They sounded so weak and fragile. Oh. Rena's voice was just like the cries of the Higurashi. She'd say something, but the words would quickly fade away. She sounded so fragile that it made me worry she might vanish into thin air along with her words. But nobody's pressuring her to continue. Mion dusted off the hood of her abandoned car and sat down on it as to show how relaxed she was. She actually did look very relaxed as she came here to enjoy the cool breeze of the evening or something. Satoko followed Mion's example and sat down as well. She didn't look nearly as relaxed, however. I thought about following suit, but it felt rude to look away from Rena even for the short time it would take to look for a place to sit down. So I decided to remain standing. Rika didn't sit down either, but she wasn't looking at Rena. Everyone else was looking at Rena, but Rika was looking at the red sky. Rika's expression was hard to describe. She looked pale and blank at the same time, as if all her emotions were gone. Rena wore the same kind of expression. She kept trying to say something, but it seemed like the words were stuck in her throat. She noticed Rika was looking at the sky, so she decided to look that way as well. Mion did the same. So did I. Satoko looked that way too. And with that, there was silence. It was like we were in a concert hall filled with the chorus of the Higurashi. A concert hall with the highest roof in the world. A refreshing, cool breeze tickled our sweaty bodies. I could almost make myself believe we came here to enjoy the breeze and the sunset. I could only wish that was what we came here for. The shadows of the birds flying across the sky soured the feeling of our quiet concert. They reminded us the time hadn't stopped. Nobody wanted to pressure Rena. We didn't want time to pressure her either. We wanted to keep the cool red sky as long as we could so Rena could calm down and talk. Right then, I heard a sound, and it brought us all back to reality. The hood Mion is sitting on made noise when she moved across her legs. I don't know whether Mion made the noise on purpose or not, but it reminded us that time had been passing by. The noise took our attention away from the sky and back to the ground. Such a tasteless noise seemed to have urged Rena to speak. Rena heaved a small sigh, nodded as if she understood something, and looked at us like she always did. There's one thing I want to say before anything else. She was probably saying it to everybody, but since I'm standing in the middle, with her looking at me, I nodded to her to represent our agreement. I think I did the right thing. Her voice wasn't hoarse anymore. She sounded just like she always did. how much we're allowed to struggle in order to be happy. It sounded like a question, but nobody answered. That's why I really like Mi's club. The one rule is to do whatever it takes to win, right? I think that's wonderful. If we were only allowed to do nice things, and if there was a limit to how much we could struggle, people who aren't happy wouldn't be able to seize happiness at all. Misfortunes are like a chain reaction, I think. Once they begin, they're very, very hard to escape. In order to escape the chain of misfortunes, you need more than just luck or even assistance. I think you need to struggle as hard as you possibly can. You need to do your best. That's how you seize true happiness. That's what I believe. Rena stopped talking, looked up, heaved a sigh, and opened her mouth again. But I'm not saying I expect you to accept what I did. I know it was a very bad thing to do. Didn't you all look stunned a while ago? That tells me everything. I've never seen her smile so self-derisively like that. That smile looked unbelievably painful. I could really feel how huge the distance between us was. There's nothing physically there, but I felt as if she's talking to us through iron bars or a chain-link fence. That's how great the distance between us was. But it's okay. There's nothing we can do about it. That's just how things are in this world. If I were you, I'd probably just look just as sun, and I'd say something irresponsible and merciless. She probably said that to hit back at us. We're just putting on a mask of sympathy, enjoying the spectacle of a clown on a stage. That's why she said that. She probably expected us to say something in return, but none of us knew what to say. Rena looked disappointed for a moment, then turned and clambered on top of an abandoned car. Then she spread her arms out, gave a little twirl, letting her skirt billow up before she grabbed both ends, and gave a graceful curtsy. Well then, are you ready for a story? This is the story of how Rena Ryugu did her best. There was no curtain or spotlight. She was atop an abandoned car amidst the trash piles, a stage made specially for her. We tried not to miss a word of what she was about to say. We believed that that was the least we could do to not hurt her feelings. So it is Rena. Okay, if it's Rena, I'm sorry, I can't do Rena's voice as the narration because my throat will die. So we'll just do my normal voice, and then when she talks to people, we'll do her Rena voice. Let's say it's a winter month like December right now. What would you do if all of a sudden you had a week of hot and humid days with crying cicadas? Would you still wear your coat and scarf? Absolutely not, right? Oh no, fucking music. Even though it's still June, it's already summer to us since we've been having hot days for so long. So it's totally okay to do this kind of club activity in June. No fucking club activities. Please, for the love of fucking God, do not give me fucking club activities. I don't want it. I just had a beautiful chapter that was all about the mystery. I don't want the club activities. This is what makes me not want to read this. At my school, everybody does what they want in PE class, but today would be an exception as my classmates were gathered in the schoolyard. Mion looked over everybody gathered there, then spoke up loudly. Hey everyone, you ready? Yeah! They all raised water guns in their hands. It's okay to use water guns in June because it's so freaking hot and humid. All my classmates were joining in, so it was going to be a big water gun battle. I'm so excited. Fucking damn it. It's so exciting to do a club activity with everyone from class. Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun to play outside with everybody together. It's going to be fun for them, but we have to be serious because we can't lose.
Well, yeah, for us club members, every game comes with a risk. Exactly. I look forward to the punishment our more careless members are going to suffer. Good luck, everyone! I'm so pumped. Everyone, listen up. Did you all check your guns? Are your tanks full?
We're all ready, Barbara-san. We're very good at gun battles.
Tomita and his friends play with water guns a lot, so they might have an advantage.
Ha ha ha. We're different men today. Tomita-kun and Okamura smiled confidently, holding their guns in a practiced manner. Their skills must give them confidence. They even look different. As we all know, Mion's going to be a tough opponent, but I think Satoko and Rika could be too. What about you, Rena? You can move fast, but you could end up being their target as well, so be careful. You've been losing a lot of games lately and taking most of the punishments.
Oh, it's just that the recent games weren't my specialty. But Keiichi, I think you've been losing a lot these days too, haven't you?
You have no idea how miserable I was when I had to go home wearing a bra and my mom saw me take it off right before... Ugh.
My last punishment was as terrible as yours. I'm ruined for marriage after having to do that.
Satoko laughed at us loudly while we were shuddering at the memory of the cruel punishments we suffered in the past.
Ho ho ho! You've been low on both luck and spirit.
I know why you've been losing so frequently.
That's because you see you're both losers.
She's right. Once you get used to losing, you just can't stop. After all those losses, your fighting spirit fades away. When you can't believe in yourself, nothing goes right, even if you're doing the same thing as everyone else.
You. Haven't you realized that Rena and I took those punishments on purpose because we wanted to spare you that fate? You should be thanking us, not calling us losers.
Oh, is that so? I'm very sorry for not thanking you enough then.
Satoko. You just added oil to the flames of my rage. I'll make you regret what you just said. I gotta turn this down. Fucking... That's the spirit, Kay. This old man hopes you can at least last long enough to serve as entertainment. Rena, you too. You'd be embarrassed if you were the first one to get shot, but I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen.
I too think Rena's going down first. Prepare yourselves for a bad time.
No, Mi-chan. Satoko, you're so mean. Rena and Keiichi, go for it. Yay.
Mion and Satoko laughed at us loud as they could, then moved on to tease their next target. Left alone, all I could do was stomp on the floor in anger. Damn it! I'm going to win. I can't let them laugh at me like that again.
I agree. It feels bad to have them laugh at us like that.
It's not only how it feels, it's also how they step on my pride. Damn it!
Like me said, it might be true that you can't stop losing once you get used to it. That's why we have to win today, no matter what, so we can get even.
Rena's eyes look different. She's usually a funny and weird person, but I know she has the determination to do what she needs to. When Rena looks like this, she can be a tough opponent.
Today, I'll follow the first club rule. I'm gonna do everything I can to win.
Oh, you sound determined. You sound cool, but also if you've been going easy on them before. Rena smiled. Or maybe you could call it a wicked grin. She was serious. She was serious about what she said. I could tell that from her expression alone. Among all the club members, Rena is easily the most sensible one. The rule of our club is that we can do anything in order to win, but she's the only one who has a moral qualm about doing it. That's why we rarely have a hard time against her, except for when she snaps. It's rare to hear her say she won't go easy.
Damn it! When you grin like that, you leave me no choice. I have to be super serious about this too. I always have to fight with all I have in our club, but I believe there's a time when we have to get super serious about it. I think today is the time.
Indeed, yes. We pounded our fists together. Usually when we really don't want to lose the game, one asked the other to work together, but Rena didn't ask this time, which meant that she was going to try and defeat everybody by herself. No, not try. She was going to do it by herself. Rena looked really cool at that moment, but I wasn't scared. If she was seriously going to do it, I'd have to be serious and do it too. My fighting spirit had been dented after many losses, but it had begun to burn hot once more.
You look good too, Keiichi. You're even scaring me a little. You look like you're gonna defeat everybody all by yourself.
I know that's what you're going to do.
That means we're gonna fight against each other at the very end.
We would if we defeated everyone else.
I hope you'll be the last one I fight against.
Me too. We pounded our fists together again. Does everyone remember the rules? You have to call it out when you get hit. Once you're hit, you can't shoot anyone. Even if you did, it wouldn't count. Mion, I'd like to confirm the definition of being hit one last time. When somebody shoots you with a water gun, you're hit. I'll break it down for you more, Kay. You're only hit when it's water from a water gun. In other words, you're not hit when somebody splashes you with a bucket of water.
Only direct shots from a water gun count. I'm sure you're not so scared of Satoko's traps now, are you? Oh, I will still have many kinds of traps ready for you. Rena, you'll be my first target. I don't think so. You're not strong enough to take me down yet. What did you just say?
I can't believe Rena gave Satoko tit for tat. This is going to be fun. Don't you think so? I don't think so. At least not for you, because all you'll be doing is choosing which one of us you're going to shoot first.
Keiichi seems determined to win.
Mion seemed to sense the fighting spirit in me and Rena. I could tell she's as serious as we are. Just from the way she looks. All right. I like your spirit. Are you all ready to start? Everyone get to your positions. The ones you drew by lot earlier. Everyone had to draw lots to pick a place to start the game from. It wouldn't be fun if everyone was close together at the beginning of the game. By the way, my starting position was behind the school building. When I drew this starting position, I thought about hiding until there were only a few people left, like I did in our last game of tag. But a defensive tactic like that wasn't interesting to me anymore. I hadn't been this excited in a long time. My legs were shaking with excitement. It was my first time experiencing that kind of feeling. I could hear Mion's countdown from some distance away. 3, 2, 1... A single shot of a toy pistol echoed. With that sound, I was already running around the building. There had to be some underclassmen nearby. I'd usually assume that someone else would take care of them, but this time was different. Wow! They stood frozen in fear as I ran towards them, screaming at the top of my voice. They took a moment to quickly decide whether to fight or run, and in that moment, I shot one after the other. Sorry, guys! You just got unlucky with the way you started. I felt bad because they lost the game so quickly, so I rubbed their heads to cheer them up and then took their water guns. That was the key factor in this game. You can't put very much water in a water gun. With 10 people around you in a gun battle, the water would be gone in a minute. I abandoned the gun I used to shoot them, held one of the guns in each hand, and scoped out the schoolyard. Just like I expected, there was intense battle happening there. In the short time it took me to take care of the area behind the school building, it seems most of my classmates were already shot. I wasn't surprised, though. I kind of knew it would happen. You need to have high skill to fight in the open schoolyard, especially when most of the club members were there. It was like a battle of elephants and ants. What is that Mion's holding? Mion was holding a different water gun from the one she had when she started. She was now holding one that looked like a huge machine gun. Its range capability, pump action shooting, and the amount of water it can hold were way beyond comparison. There were no restrictions on what kind of water guns we could use today. As long as it's a water gun, we are allowed to use any kind. Most of us have normal pistol-style water guns from a local toy store or something. I would have bought a bigger one like Mion's if they'd had one, but they weren't in stock. I'd have to order it. In other words, Mion ordered hers a long time ago just for today. She's always well prepared when it comes to winning. She must have thought that we wouldn't allow her to use the big water gun if she showed it off before the game started, so she must have hidden it somewhere. It looks like most of our classmates were shot right after the game started. Only a few were still alive, trying to survive as long as they could by using the heavy construction equipment as a shield. Mion mercilessly shot at them from various angles to make them come up from behind the shield.
Stop hiding, cowards!
Tomita and Okamura were trying their best to resist her attack from behind their shield. It looked like they had no chance against her. But that actually wasn't true. After all, the two of them were only still alive because of all their experience in water gun battles. They survived the first few minutes of her assault, even though 99% of the classmates didn't, and they were still surviving at that very moment. Mion, however, is also a battle-hardened soldier. She used the advantage of her big water tank and gradually but certainly drove them into a corner. It was only a matter of time until she broke them down.
We're cornered! It's not fair she has that machine gun!
All we have to do is survive till her tank runs low. We don't stand a chance of her when she's shooting at like this. They tried to hold out against her, but all they could do for now was keep running behind cover as Mion strafed closer and closer to them. They wanted to use their 2-against-1 advantage, but it seems like they wouldn't even get that chance. If they tried attacking recklessly, one of them might get shot, and the other would have no chance of winning. So they grew more cautious, placing bets on their final chance, but that caused their offense to wane. Of course, Mion saw through their plan. She was purposely provoking them so they'd lose their patience and start attacking her recklessly. Mion circled around the construction equipment, and now was standing with her back towards me. If I went up against her machine gun fair and square, I wouldn't stand a chance. So, attacking from behind would be the only way for me to defeat her. Even though she was in a defenseless position, there was some distance between us. I was still too far away, but it would be better to attack her now than take her head on. Don't hesitate, Keiichi. You won't have this chance again. I stepped out from my hiding place and ran as fast as I could towards her with 2 water guns in my hands. Instead of approaching slowly and silently, I screamed at the top of my lungs. Rah! Mion!
What?
There you are, Kay. Mion seemed a little shocked by my surprise attack, but she immediately pulled herself together. She knew the advantages of her weapon. But she didn't shoot me just yet. She held back, luring me closer. Mion was well aware of how much water she had left. If she had the same kind of water gun as me, we would have had the same range capability. So it would have been down to our technique to decide the winner. If she was fighting against one of her underclassmates, she could have defeated them easily. Mion immediately calculated her chance of winning against me and figured out that her only chance was to use the advantage of her water gun. She saw the eye of the tiger in me and recalculated her chance of winning in a split second. Really, I can admire how fast she does those things. I ran at top speed to shorten the distance between us. Our strength should have been equal. I had 2 guns, full tanks, and she had a machine gun with a half-empty tank. We both waited for the perfect moment. Your fighting spirit deserves my respect, Kay. I'm not sure if I would have been a match for you today if I didn't have this gun. I'm disappointed in you, Mion. Your calculations are off today. Did you say you thought you could beat me? Because you don't stand a chance. The moment we stepped within range, Mion and I pulled our triggers at the same time. Mion set her sights squarely on me while I was trying to shoot and run at the same time. Her shot would obviously be more accurate than mine. My shot of water flew towards nowhere. Mion didn't even need to duck. But Mion's shot made a beautiful arc straight towards my chest. I could see the lawn of water coming straight at me, but I was too unstable to dodge. Mion had no doubt she got me. You need more than spirit to defeat me. I knew you'd be the first to go down. I'm still disappointed in you, Mion. Your calculations are really off today. Bullshit! You can't dodge that shot. It'll go straight through you and you'll regret it the moment you chose to come screaming rather than creeping up from behind. You're really disappointing me today, Mion. You could have figured it out if you spent just one more second to think. You could have figured out the reason why I didn't scream up on you, but screamed as loud as I could instead. Mion noticed my surprise attack and turned around to face me. In other words, she turned her back on the opponents she was fighting earlier. Those opponents heard my scream and saw that she turned her back on them. What's this? Mion noticed her back was wet and cold. She finally understood that the classmen she was attacking earlier had shown their fangs and attacked from behind. I blocked her water shot with my arm right before it hit my chest. The line of water was broken into droplets and splattered away. Damn it! I got hit first, so my shot didn't count. You took too long to figure it out. Now get down, Mion. Mion squatted down and covered her head. Now it was me versus Tomita and Okamura. Their reflexes weren't so bad. They knew well I'd be their next target after Mion was gone. They didn't feel sorry at all for attacking me right after I saved them from their predicament. I can respect the cruelty and how quickly they shifted gears. They may be one day be able to join our club if they keep refining their sense and skill. Our next target's Maibara. Let's get him.
It's 1 against 2. We can take him.
They were, however, one step behind me. It was already too late. For them, Mion was their first target and I was next. But I was different. My first target was them from the start. I didn't even see Mion as my target to begin with because I knew they'd take care of her. I was pointing my guns at them long before they moved their sights from Mion to me. It seemed like they noticed at the last moment that both my guns had been pointing at them from the beginning, which meant it was already too late for them. I jumped over Mion, rolled on the ground, and landed on my feet. He looked as elegant as an athlete who had just finished a perfect performance. I had a gun in each of my hands, and with those guns I shot them each in the middle of their chests. So fast!
How could the two of us lose against one?
Tomita and Okamura fell to their knees in disappointment. I can't believe you did all this, Kay. I guess I am off today like you said. Mion wiped the dirt off her knees, looking frustrated. Don't worry, it wasn't you. Then why did I lose? That's simple. I twirled my guns on the tip of my fingers. I have to win sometimes in order to keep looking so cool. There were only a few people left alive. Rena, Satoko, and myself. Rena and Satoko were fighting fiercely. Were they evenly matched? No, Satoko was pushing her hard. Moving fast, she was driving Rena into a corner. Rena was usually gentle and slow, but today she was different. She was very serious today, and yet Satoko was overwhelming her. She's a tough customer even without her tricky traps.
Do you remember threatening me earlier? I suppose you were just bluffing.
You move well, but I'm still going to win.
Satoko kept moving around, piling on pressure in order to pin Rena down. She kept shooting, so her tank must have been empty, but her shots were still sharp and fast. I noticed a bucket near her feet which is full of many water guns. I understood seeing that. She had been taking guns from others who were already out of the game. In this battle, reloading bullets was more crucial than the actual shooting. That hole you put water into on the guns is rather small. To put water through it from a faucet takes time and requires a certain amount of skill. In a battle like this, it would almost be suicidal. I understood that well, so I'd been taking guns from the people I defeated, but I could only hold one in each hand. Satoko used a bucket to overcome the limit. Rena looked like she only had one water gun. I'd assumed she had two earlier, but she must have used a lot of water during her long battle with Satoko. It looked like she was trying to save her water for the right moment, but with Satoko's fierce attacks, it was obvious that it was a matter of time before Rena was driven into a corner. However, Rena is also quite skilled. She only pretended to be driven into a corner, but she was actually luring Satoko to a place where she'd have the advantage. There was a narrow, twisting path near the gymnasium warehouse behind the school. With Rena's water levels running low, she'd want to turn things around with a single close-range shot. The narrow path was a perfect place for her to do that.
What's wrong? You're slowing down a little. Getting tired? Oh, I appreciate your concern, but I'm not tired at all. I think you should worry more about your remaining water. You haven't shot back at me for a while. Your tank is empty, I suppose. If you think so, why don't you stop hiding and show your face? I'll pass. I'm aware you've been holding on to that last shot. One shot's all I need. I'll be nice and shoot you in the forehead. I don't want to get your clothes wet after all. I never imagined I could have such a thrilling battle with you, Rena. However, with the amount of water you have remaining, I doubt you have enough pressure to make the last shot go far.
Satoko was right about that. Rena had just enough water to make one last shot. As the amount of water left in the tank dwindles, the range shot you can make shortens. That makes the last shot the shortest and weakest of them all. Regardless of her absolutely disadvantageous situation, Rena didn't look frustrated. I could tell she had no intention to lose. It was almost like she didn't even see Satoko as a threat. You picked a perfect location for yourself, didn't you? I have to tread cautiously. Satoko seemed to understand how dangerous Rena's last shot was going to be better than I did, since she was the actual one fighting. I don't play chess very often, but I believe this kind of situation is called a stalemate, is it not? Satoko took out another gun with a full tank and shortened the distance between them slowly and carefully. A gun with a full tank doesn't only have a long range, it also has enough power to make shots more accurate. If they shot at each other in a frontal attack, Satoko would have a 99% chance to win. Even so, Satoko was still afraid of Rena's last shot. Satoko shortened the distance even further, smiling as if unafraid, but I could tell she was actually full of fear. Satoko compared this situation to chess earlier, but it wasn't exactly the same. In chess, you can use some pieces to drive the opponent's king into a corner, but in this case there was only Rena and Satoko. You can lose some of your pieces in order to achieve a win, but Satoko doesn't have any pieces other than herself. A king can't drive the other king into a corner alone. That's called a stalemate. That's why, at first glance, it looks like Satoko had the absolute advantage. They're actually on equal footing. Let us finish this. It's not like us to wait for the bell to bring an end to the battle. You're right. Let's do this. That's strange. I thought Rena would have wanted to move just on a dare from Satoko. What kind of plan did she have? Rena had been hiding behind cover for a while, but she came out without hesitation. I noticed something right away. Rena had a different gun. Satoko seemed to notice it as well. I had a plan to hide here when my water ran low. I had a gun in advance. Damn, she's good. And using a trap at the last moment for a come-from-behind victory, it was though she was taking Satoko's best skill from her and firing it right back. Satoko no longer had any advantages, not that both of them were pointing guns at each other with full tanks. But she still looked confident. What was going on? Did she just have some kind of plan too?
That gun you're holding right now is very important to me. What do you mean? You would have kept waiting for your perfect shot and would have come out of hiding if you didn't have that gun. At that moment, lightning ran through my brain and I instantly understood. Of course! Rena was in a disadvantaged situation earlier, but it was actually the same for Satoko since she didn't have a chance to make her shot while Rena was hiding. Rena had remained cautious in order to hit with her last shot, and that made it difficult for Satoko to attack her. However, what if Rena didn't need to take the last shot for a come-behind victory? No, I said it wrong. What if Rena got a new gun with a full tank? She'd stop hiding and come out to fight against Satoko. You see, I knew from the beginning that you'd run over here in order to obtain that gun. Let Satoko talk crap, Rena. You don't have to listen to her. Just shoot her right now. Rena thought the same thing. She shot at Satoko without any hesitation. But she frowned in confusion a moment after. What was going on? She couldn't shoot. Was her water gun broken? Or did somebody break it? Didn't you know that you can easily break a water gun by pulling a little bit of sand in an empty tank and pulling the trigger several times? You knew I was hiding my trump card here and pulled a cheap trick like that, huh? I told you. You only set one small trap at the last moment. That is the beauty of traps. When it comes to traps, Satoko remained a notch above Rena after all. I couldn't believe Satoko figured out Rena's plan in advance and set a trap to counter it. Rena, you made a big mistake. You should just come in and shoot them both. You should have kept the old gun with you. You could have at least made that last shot. But it's too late now for you to pick it up again. Rena was in a worse situation than she was before. She couldn't even take another shot. Be prepared. You told me earlier you'd shoot me in the forehead, did you not? Well, I will be at least kind enough to do you the same favor. Satoko slowly narrowed her distance again and pointed the muzzle at Rena's forehead. Rena still didn't look like she'd given up. She still thought the game was undecided. Satoko, you're not as good as you think you are. What did you say? If you got me with your trap, it'd be your right as the winner to allow yourself room to breathe and smile like you're doing now. But all you've done is driven me to a tough spot. You haven't killed me yet. Don't you think it's a little early for you to act like you've already gotten me? Oh, I thought you were going to say something much scarier than that. It makes no difference because I'm going to get you right now. If I were you, I'd just shoot rather than keep talking. You know why? Because if I didn't, I'd lose. Lose? Are you talking about me? I highly doubt you can fight with a jammed water gun. Do you remember the rule? You're hit when it's water from a water gun. Huh? So what are you saying? When I heard her saying that, I started running. My target was Rena. Satoko was already dead to me. Why? She was going to be shot by Rena within the second. I have absolutely no idea what you're referring to, Rena. What do you think you could do with a jammed water gun? As long as I have water in my gun, I can still fight. Don't you get it? Rena raised her broken water gun high and smashed its handle on the wall of the school building as hard as she could. The plastic broke easily and water flowed out of it. As long as water from the gun hits you, you're dead. It doesn't matter where the water comes from. Rena was right. She's just saved herself by thinking it through. If she was using a real gun, bullets would only come from one end of the gun. But this was a water gun. She could make her bullets, water in this case, come out from any place, not just the barrel. What? Satoko finally realized she was standing defenselessly in front of Rena. Satoko's trap was successful, but she overestimated its effect. She should have just shot Rena without hesitation before Rena noticed her new water gun was jammed. She was going to fail because she had grown overconfident of her victory. A second before Satoko pulled the trigger, Rena swung her gun as if slashing Satoko with a sword.
Satoko fired her bullets, but it was too late. A second before Rena would be shot down, a blade of water hit Satoko in the face. No, not hit. It cut her face open.
Your endgame wasn't good enough.
I can't believe I lost. Rena ran towards Satoko, who was still in shock, and took her water gun. Rena knew I was her last target and that I was running towards her. Rena! Rena, using her superior mobility, began to duck and weave. We were evenly matched. Neither of us neglected to make any effort possible to take advantage of the situation.
I knew it'd end up being a one-on-one with you. I knew you wouldn't disappoint me.
I'm seeing you in a new light today. I didn't know you had the guts.
Rather than a new light, I'd like you to see me in a romantic way.
I can try if you let me win.
No thanks.
We circled around the construction equipment, taking the shots at each other. We were both sweating like crazy, but I didn't feel tired. Big drops of sweat tickled as I ran down my body. Rapid bursts of water flew across both our paths. Neither of us had the advantage or disadvantage. I didn't feel elated that I might win or frustrated that I might lose. I was just enjoying this battle with Rena. It was like a dance that I couldn't dance alone, a dance I could only dance with an opponent. Rena sure is sharp when she gets serious. It's like giving me chills. Keiichi's good too. He's evenly matched with her.
I can't tell who's gonna win.
In fact, none of the observers could tell who was going to win. Neither could we. We had no idea who was going to win. We had no idea when this battle would end. I didn't know why, but it was great fun to just fight against Rena, and I didn't even care whether I won or lost. In fact, I never wanted it to end. As we fired at each other, both of our tanks emptied, shortening our range. Inevitably, it became more and more like a melee than a gun battle. We fired our water guns as if we were trying to cut each other with blades of water, swinging the gun like a sword. We both came up with the idea to swing the gun hard in order to generate its centrifugal force, in order to increase the range of our attacks. I dived to duck her shot. I rolled on the ground and landed on my feet. I ducked her shot again and swung my gun like a sword. Who could have imagined our club's water gun battle would turn this one-on-one close combat like this? Absolutely nobody. Oh, you think so too, Rena?
You too, Keiichi?
We're both breathing hard, calculating the timing needed to take a closer step. And then we both grinned wickedly at each other.
This is so fun! I don't want it to ever end! Don't hate me if you lose!
No, I'd hate myself for ending this game, but I know I won't be the one crying in the end.
I don't know about that! Your feet are getting weak like they're made of straw!
Shut up!
Ah!
Wow, they both look so cool. My bar, go!
Ryugo-san, you could get him!
I became relaxed enough to enjoy the battle and finally realized many of our classmates were watching one-on-one. I barely had any water left. I would have to make the next shot count or I was done for. It seemed like Rena was in the same situation too. The next shot will decide it. I wish we could fill up our tanks and keep doing this forever.
Well, people enjoy things because they end eventually. Flowers are beautiful especially because they wither.
I see, that's one way to look at it.
It's been fun fighting against you, but this is it.
Indeed. Sorry, but I'm going to end this battle.
Good luck, Keiichi.
Don't cry when you lose.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah. What? How? Which one of them won? The cries of the cicadas echoed in the quiet schoolyard. They sounded like the hand of a watch ticking away the seconds. Neither one of us moved. We took our final shots and now stood motionless. It looked like one of those duels in Western movies. Who hit the other first? I don't know, I couldn't see it. Her classmates broke the silence first. Then they finally realized that her intensely beautiful one-on-one battle was over. Class Prez, what is your decision? Mion in turn realized that she had to give a verdict to end the game. But she was just as stunned as the others, and it took her a moment to recover. Mion was taking time to render her verdict. In fact, Rena and I didn't know who won either. My last shot flew fast and splashed sideways as if a blade had cut her chest. I knew that for sure, but at the same time, Rena's shot hit me in the shoulder. Whoever shot the other first wins, but we didn't know if it was me or her. That's why we stood motionless, waiting for the verdict to be delivered. Did you see it, Rika?
I can't tell.
Class Prez, who won? Everybody held their breath, waiting for Mion to call it. Rena and I kept staring at each other. The spectators were the only ones who were interested in who the winners were. To us, that wasn't important. We had a great battle. We had both really wanted to do better than the other. We both wanted to call it a tie. For this great battle, settling for a tie would be the best and most proper option. In other words, this one-on-one fight wasn't a battle to decide the winner. It seems like everyone's thinking the same way.
Me?
Yeah.
They can't move if you don't deliver a verdict.
Yeah. Mion hates to settle for a tie because she loves to draw a line between superiors and inferiors. She tends to settle for a tie when deciding who's the loser because it's more fun to have as many people as possible suffer the punishment. But she's never settled for a tie between winners before. Mion holds a special feeling towards the meaning of being number one. Everyone continued holding their breath, awaiting her verdict. Please make it a tie. Everybody wished for that in their hearts. Mion was hesitating to make the decision. She could have chosen a winner more easily if one of us did even a little better than the other. But even if one of us did a little better than the other, I feel like nothing fits better than settling for a tie. The two of you did great today, Mion finally started speaking. Kay and Rena, you showed us significant spirit and skill today. The explosive power you showed us was so beautiful that it's beyond even the highest praise I can ever give. It's very difficult to decide who the winner should be after watching such an amazing battle. Then you mean we have two winners? I don't like to have two winners. That's not really the point of our club. However, they were both so good, it's very hard for me to decide who was better. So, I'm going to call it a tie for today, and they'll have another battle some other time to decide the winner. I expected she might settle for a tie, but I never thought she'd make us have another battle. My bar, you were awesome! You were so cool!
Ryugu, you gave me the chills. It was like you set our hearts on fire.
The classmates rushed towards us and praised us for showing them something that cool. Rena and I were finally released from the tension of battle and dropped to our knees.
Too bad. We tied.
Yeah, I can't wait for our next battle.
Can you give me your hand?
Of course. I was going to ask you the same thing. We both smiled at each other. It was the first time we ever hit it off like this.
By the way,
you're pretty good at that. What do you mean?
Me? You're trying to get away without suffering the punishment, aren't you?
She was just trying to
sound cool, but the main reason she delivered that verdict was to protect herself. That's so like Mion, you know. Look! She's running away. Looks like my guess was right. She's so obvious.
The bell rang, a sign that class was over, while we all laughed at Mion. After that,
good job out there, you two. Here, use this towel.
Rika held out a towel with a big smile on her face. However, Rena and I stepped back and pointed our water guns at her.
Meep. I was already shot many times. I told everyone I was already hit, but nobody believes me.
Rika was soaking wet. Well, nobody believed her because she really could be that sneaky, pretending she was hit in order to stay in the game. It's your own fault no one believes you. Sometimes it's hard to believe anything you say.
Meep. Everyone's so mean to me. I feel lonely. I'm lonely like a poor little kitten crying in a cardboard box because nobody wants her. Meep, meep.
Boom. The sound came from Rena's head. I saw a circle of smoke coming out of it. Rena must have pictured Rika meowing like a cat in a cardboard box.
Aww. Rika's abandoned kitten. Kitten! I'm taking her home.
Ow!
Meep. Meep.
Rena, you're ruining how cool we looked earlier. Rena was back to her normal self and jumped on Rika like a chameleon capturing its prey. Rika struggled to get away. Come on, everyone, get back to your classroom now. Chi-sensei clapped her hands and yelled at us from the window of the teacher's office. Let's go! Everyone exchanged smiles and ran back to the classroom. Please don't have more than one of those. They're cute. I'm not saying they're not cute, but I've had so many of those. I want the mystery. I want the story. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to follow me on YouTube. I put up all my videos there, and I will catch you later. Au revoir.